Hello there. Hello, this is Robin in Changchun, China. I'm in the park, Baicun Park. Actually, this isn't considered the park. The park's across there, the other side of the water. Now, probably from here you can't see the water, you can just see the reeds and you can just see the heads of a few people there fishing in the water there. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon, 5:30, and I've just been out in the sun. I like to expose my body to the sun to get some vitamin D. It's free, so this side of the river hasn't been developed and they don't consider it the park. So it obviously was starting to be developed at some point, but they've stopped doing that now. Probably letting it grow wild a little bit. See a bit of a pond here where it rained non-stop for about a night and a day and a night, and stopped raining this morning, and it's kind of just starting to dry up a little bit. You can see this path here is overgrown, where they haven't cut the weeds back, they haven't treated it at all. They planted trees here at some point and planted some nice plants at some point, but see, look, these are quite nice. I forget what you call them. Some of you say, oh, it's such and such. I forget what you call them, but they're nice. They're plants you'd have in your garden. Over there is the bus station for the 268, I think it is, the one that takes me to the hospital and back. We went to the hospital the other day to have another check-up, and it's a dead rat. Don't think he drowned. Didn't rain that much. Not much to see here, but I had a couple of things on my heart I wanted to share, and so I'm going to speak them out, and then you'll hear my heart. And you hear so many commentaries by people, they say this and that about China. There's one thing I want to say, and I want to say it loud and clear. I've been coming to China now since 2005, that's about 19 years. And I've been living here on and off since 2008. And I've been married to a Chinese woman since 2013. And I'm just scraping the surface. Just scraping the surface. I mean, just realising a tiny fraction of how different Chinese culture is than our culture. How different the way they think to the way we think. And for many years I was living here and coming here and thinking I understood the Chinese, but I didn't understand them at all. I was trying to work them out from a Western civilization standpoint, from a Western mentality, and you can't do it. You can't do it. It's like trying to explain to a blind man what the colour blue is, or how it's different from red, or how it's different from how orange is different from yellow. It's very, very difficult to put into words, but you have people who've lived here for a year or two and they think they're experts. They've been here once and they put a video on YouTube and they think, oh look, this is China. And yeah, you can describe the differences, you can explain lots of things about how people act and how they're different. But actually living with them and understanding them, you don't know, you've got to realise they're coming from a completely different starting point. So you hear these experts on, I don't know, YouTube I suppose, or on the news, or in governments, and they say the Chinese think this, or the Chinese are doing that, and it's a load of rubbish, really. I would say, unless you're speaking to someone who is Chinese, who's ethnically Chinese, who has lived in a Chinese family and has been brought up understanding the Chinese culture, and who also understands the English culture and the Western culture. There's a bloke called Carl Zha on YouTube, and Carl, C-A-R-L, Zha, Z-H-A, and he's Chinese, ethnically Chinese, and he's a historian. He knows a lot about the Chinese history, but he also understands Chinese culture, and I listen to what he says, because he's also grown up in America, so he understands Western culture, so he can explain in Western terms better than anyone I know Chinese realities. And I'm going to try and make a comparison here, and it's not a very good comparison, but those of you who believe in God will also know, if you know God, if you've had an experience with God and He's changed your heart and He's shown you that He's real, and there's not a doubt in your heart about that, and you've given your life to Him and you've received that life, then when you get with other Christians, then you know immediately what they're talking about. You immediately understand what they're on about. Excuse me. And it's like there's a Christian culture that comes from actually knowing God. It's having that relationship with God, and then once you've got that relationship with God, you can understand what another Christian is saying, even though you don't know them, you've never met them before, but they say something and immediately, bang, it hits your heart, and you say, yeah, I know that, I know exactly what they're on about, I understand that. And if you're not a Christian and you don't believe in God, that's fine. Well, it's not fine, but I'm not here to challenge you on that. You're going to have to face God and answer to Him, and I recommend that you have a chat with Him sometime. But if you listen to people like Ricky Gervais and these well-known people who make a great argument, really, about how God doesn't exist and how atheism is the way you should go. Well, it's like someone coming to China, or someone who's never been to China, or who's been to China one time, trying to explain why the Chinese do this or do that or do the other. So you can explain away why Christians act in a certain way, and you can say, oh, it's because of this or because of that, but until you've actually got it and got it in your heart, you don't understand it. And now, because I live in a Chinese family, every now and then I get glimpses of what they're on about, of what the Chinese culture is. So there's my comparison. I'm saying that unless you're actually Chinese, or actually right in next to them and rubbing up with them day by day, day in, day out, you're not really going to understand their culture. And same with Christianity. You're not going to understand the Christian until you actually meet God yourself, and then it'll all become clear. Right, I'm going to get out of here and head home. It's 20 to 6 now, which makes it getting on for rush hour time. Well, probably is rush hour now. Most people knock off work about 5 here. So basically what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to explain the Chinese people. And if ever I do, bear in mind that I haven't got a clue. The more I'm in this culture, the more I realise I'm on the outside of it. I'm on the outside looking in. I don't understand why they do the things they do, why they think the way they think. I can tell you what they think and how they react to certain things. I can tell you that they'll put an umbrella up when it's sunny. And I can tell you that I don't know, I'm trying to think of something else. I live here, and often you can live in a little cocoon where I'm in my Western world, watching Western things on Western YouTube, and you can isolate yourself from being in this place, because it's scary sometimes that they are so different. It's scary that they're so different sometimes, and my words are inadequate. I'm going to walk now down to the main road, and you'll be able to see how the overpass, the motorway that they're building there is coming on. They're making a kind of a roof, a tunnel over it, so that at certain points it'll be enclosed, and I assume that is to stop the noise from interfering with the residential area here. And in the summer you have to sleep with the window open because it's too hot otherwise. So the noise can be quite disturbing. This here is a three-wheel. You can see it's like a motorbike with a truck on the back. And this area, this thing here, they put your wheelie bin on it, and it lifts it up and empties it into the back of that thing. So this here is a recycling station and a public toilet, and they're very nice toilets as well. They're clean, kept clean. There you go. Give you a nice picture there. I'm not going to go in maybe I will. Just in the entrance so you can have a look. Ladies, disabled, gents, place to wash your hands. See, they got these things, they're magnetic, they shut, it keeps the mosquitoes and stuff out. And round the back they got a place where they empty their rubbish. So I think most people have knocked off for the day here. You can see the traffic's they're quite busy. Those vehicles come into the housing unit and will go round at night, you know, and empty your bins. About 2, 3, 4 in the morning they come round and do that. So that's our housing unit over there, just under my finger there. That's where we live. Now I'll walk up to the main road before I say cheerio, but so although I don't necessarily understand them, the Chinese, I do love them. Loving them and liking them are two different things, I suppose. They've got a policeman here. Right. They've got a red light, so I can go now. That big truck there, the red one, orangey browny red one, was made here in Changchun. It's the FAW, First Automotive Works, which was the first one they opened in China, and it's a company that is based in Changchun and has a lot of dealings with Volkswagen. So you can see how the motorway's coming on. It's massive. So I will say goodbye now, and excuse me, my voice is a bit hoarse. Are you a little hoarse? Hey! I'll say cheerio for now. Bear in mind, when people talk about China, unless they've lived here longer than I have, and they've lived in the Chinese family and closer to Chinese than I have, And unless their Chinese is better than mine, and take everything they say with a pinch of salt, because they're viewing things from a Western point of view. If someone tells you that there isn't a God and you don't know God, then obviously take that with a pinch of salt as well, because there is. Bye for now. God bless.